Is safety the only thing that senior citizens look for in their portfolio? The answer is yes, it's very important. So I have always said that there are three important things to look for while investing. It is safety, it is liquidity, and what return you get. So this ratio will keep changing. So if you're young, if you're 22, then again you really don't need too much of return, because you don't have too much of amount. Let's say you're 23 years of age and you have been investing 5,000 rupees a month. So on 60,000 rupees, what rate of return that you get should not be very important. So R is not very important when you're 22. Safety is very important because you're still learning. You don't want to lose money. Of course, even if you lose money, the amount of money that you will lose is going to be significantly high for you, but it's not going to be a big amount anyway. The most important thing for a 22-year-old, the most important ratio that he or she should be looking for is, what is the ratio of my income that I am able to save and invest? That is a far more important question than saying, is my money giving a good return? But as time goes by, there are three things. As you get older, maybe 50 plus, or maybe 50 plus, you're definitely looking for return, because now your corpus has grown. Maybe it is 4 crores corpus or 5 crores corpus. Return is important. Liquidity is important. In case something happens, you could have an emergency, you could any of those things. So you need some liquidity, and of course you need safety, but you need returns also. What happens when you're 70, 75 plus? Now the same SL and R. First you need liquidity, right? It's very important that you need liquidity, not with all your money, but for a big portion of your money, because medical emergency is not covered by insurance. Having to pay those kind of expenses which are not you didn't know that will come, right? Paying for all that. So liquidity is important. Of course safety is important, and R goes to the third position, saying so it is going to be L, S and R, or S, L and R, doesn't really matter. But safety is very important, because not because you are old or anything, but because you do not know how much time you have to recover the losses which you make. So in equity markets, when you lose money, it could take 10 years for your money to be recovered. So if you are 85, do you want to take a chance that you will be around till 95? So the question is, you want to be in less volatile assets, which is how we define as safety. Safety means there should be no permanent loss, and at 85 there should not be any temporary loss also, because you don't have the time to wait for it to be recovered. So S, L and R are important for every one of us. The question is, at what age, what is more important? It is not to say that liquidity is not important for the young people. Yes, of course liquidity is important, but for them liquidity, safety can both take a back seat, and even return can take a back seat, because they've got a long way to go. So in 1 year, if they get a bad return, you're 23 years of age and your market has given you minus 8% return, it won't really matter. But you're 55 years of age and you're about to retire and the market gives you minus 8%, remember, it means on the 5 crore portfolio, it's a 40 lakh rupee loss. Right, that's a big amount. I mean, for most people who are middle class, even with 5 crores in liquid assets, 40 lakhs is a big loss. So for that person, the returns will matter. Of course, you want to then say, okay, let me stabilize my returns once I'm 65. Some portion of my assets can be volatile, but a big portion of my assets should be non-volatile assets, because I don't have time to recover, right? So S, L and R, you choose what is very important for you, because you cannot get everything in every asset. You cannot, the safety and liquidity of a savings bank account can hardly be met by any investment, but there is no return, right? So you get good decent return in PPF. It is safe, it is owned by the government of India, so you're not worried about rating, whether you will get your money back, but it does not give you liquidity. So ultimately in your portfolio, you want some safety. You want safety for all the assets. There is no doubt about that. You are not putting money in equity saying, oh, thoda doob jayega to chalega. You are putting to make more money, but sometimes you will make a loss. So yes, safety is important. Liquidity, enough liquidity, not too much. If you have got a 5 crore portfolio, you want 10 lakhs to be liquid or 20 lakhs to be liquid, not whole 5 crores to be liquid. Or even if you have got 1 crore, you want 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs to be liquid. If your parents are dependent on you, maybe 20 lakhs to be liquid. But if you are dependent on on your parents, then you may not want so much liquidity. You may depend on your credit card for liquidity, right? So for each person the answer is different, but look at all the three, S, L and R, decide what is important for you, and you will have to compromise on the other two. So find out what is the most primary thing for you in your whole portfolio. S, L and R, all the three should be in reasonable proportion so that you get a real rate of return after tax and inflation. Thank you. If getting regular income is the goal for which you are investing, then it is important for you to keep your money in assets which are also liquid a little bit, right? So you want returns, so something like a bank fixed deposit is a good place to keep your money. Something like a ultra short bond fund is a good place to keep your money. Money market mutual fund is a good place to keep your money. One good thing about mutual fund is they transmit the change in interest rates in the market very quickly. So today in the money market fund or in the liquid fund, you can get something like 5.5%, 6%, whereas in the bank fixed deposit, say in a savings bank account, I found that my bank pays 2% return, 2% interest. This is what they pay. That's it. Take it or leave it, right? Of course, there are other banks which may pay 6%, but largely banks don't transmit the change in the market so quickly. They wait for the world to react to it and then they start passing on. Whereas in a mutual fund, the passing on benefit is very quick. So therefore, you can keep your money in any of these funds and start withdrawing. Now, once upon a time, I would have said you wait for 3 years and then you withdraw because the whole thing will be taxed at a more benign rate. That advantage is gone. But however, when you pay tax only when you withdraw, and you pay tax as per the normal rates, that is the only change which has happened, but it is still called capital gains. So if you have, let's say, a 2 lakh capital loss in the equity market, all the money that you withdraw from a mutual fund for your expenses, say you withdrew 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs of money from mutual fund, out of which some 3 lakhs was your own money and 1 lakh was capital gain. That 1 lakh can be set off against the 2 lakhs of capital loss that you have made. So there are some advantages still in keeping money in a mutual fund, apart from the diversification risk and getting better, definitely superior returns to a bank deposit. Of course, there is another advantage of there being no TDS, and the mutual fund house will send you a statement showing this is the capital gains that you have made. Obviously, you have to check it out because sometimes they may not be 100% accurate. And I don't know whether you want to take the trouble of doing it yourself, because especially if you are doing an SGP or a systematic transfer, that every month some money is getting shifted from your, let's say, ultra short bond fund to some equity fund. So every month there will be some capital gain, and on that you have to pay tax. So as long as the taxation is being the calculation is being done by the AMC, you don't have to bother too much, right? So when you want liquidity, any of these options are good. Also, in case of liquidity, one more thing which I feel is as long as you are able to go to an ATM and withdraw, keeping some money in the bank makes sense. If you know how to withdraw online, then you can go give instructions to your mutual fund to transfer that money to your bank, and then you can issue checks, or you can go and withdraw money through an ATM card, right? All those things. So liquidity is good in mutual funds, it is good in bank deposits, and of course for senior citizens, if you have invested in something like SCSS, which is Senior Citizen Savings Scheme, or Pradhan Mantri Varishta Bima Yojana, these are very good assets, but they are not very liquid. But the interest or the dividend, whatever you get from there, of course in SCSS it is dividend, and in case of the LIC policy it is an annuity. Both are taxable, but both are very prompt. If it is to come to you on a particular date, it will come to you on a particular date. You don't have to worry about that. So if you have incurred some expenses on your credit card, you know this money is coming which can be used to pay off. So you paid a hospital bill of 48,000, you know next quarter you're going to get, or next in the next 45 days you're going to get some money. You can be sure that cash will come, and that can be used to repay the credit card. Let's say you've run 2 lakhs of bill in your credit card and you have only 20,000 rupees to pay on the due date. That's perfectly all right. You know that some 90,000 or 2 lakh 10,000 is coming in the next quarter. you can use that money. Will you pay interest? Yes, for a short period you will pay interest, but you don't have money, so you don't have too much of a choice. So using your credit card as a liquidity source is good, but you should know that from where you're going to repay. You cannot blindly use the credit card, but I know many people who use the credit card and then on the due date make the full payment. So that way, yes, credit cards is another good source of liquidity. Not that we'll ever use it. I've never used credit card as a source of liquidity, but you know at the back of your mind that if you have a 15 lakh rupee credit card available, you know at the back of your mind, in the worst case scenario, that is always available for you to use. But make sure it's a good card, widely accepted, then only. Otherwise the chances are, say, oh sir, it's a foreign card, our hospital won't accept. So those kind of things should not have. So a RuPay card is best, or a Visa card makes sense, but I mean Diners card etc. don't get accepted very well. So be careful about which card you carry. Thank you.